Chelsea was with 11 players, I'm sure they will win that game. That team need maybe a little bit more experienced player. To be honest, I prefer to see him as a midfielder, I wanted to see him to sign for Chelsea. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but yeah.
Before the start of the season, we thought Arsenal were going to be the favourites, and it's turned out that way, although there's been a few slip-ups. But Chelsea as well, we thought they might have a chance, and they've shown signs of being in the mix, but are they missing something just when it comes to chasing Arsenal in the title race?
Yes, I think they miss to have some experienced players, because when we look the game they play against Arsenal, they draw on that game, but unfortunately, Caicedo got the red card, and when we see the image about that challenge, he make a big mistake. If Chelsea was with 11 players, I'm sure they will win that game. So that's why I said they miss to have a little bit experienced player.
Yeah, absolutely. One positive recently has been Reece James has been playing more games than we've seen potentially in the last few seasons, and he's dropped into midfield at times as well and played in that role. There's often talk about Enzo and Caicedo and how good they've become for Chelsea, but do you see Reece James as being on a par with them potentially in midfield?
Yes, because what he did, he did a great job in that position. Normally his position is to be the right back, but as a midfielder, I think he can give more security for Enzo and Caicedo. Now the question is if he can play in that position until the end of the season. I think with the quality he had, I think he can do it, because he's still young. He came back from injury, and he looked like he really, really want to come back to his best shape. So if the manager decide to let him to play in that position, I think it would be good.
Do you think potentially his days at right back maybe could be over for now? I mean, we know that Enzo Maresca likes him in that midfield role, and Malo Gusto has done well at right back. Do you think that's potentially the case, or could Reece James switch between the two?
When I look the game he was play as a right back, it was great. But he was make some little mistake, when he was defend. So, to be honest, I prefer to see him as a midfielder, because he still got players behind him, and with his quality, because he has a great quality when he has the ball, he can do some good passes to his teammate, to his striker, winger, and when he has to defend, it's not like 70% he has to defend. It's almost like 40%. So that's why I prefer him to play as a midfielder.
There has been a lot of talk about Chelsea's defence this season, and there has been a lot of injuries there and a lot of changing around the central defenders. Do you think, as well as the injuries, having to change so often is one of the reasons why Chelsea maybe haven't been that bit closer to Arsenal?
I think the problem is not really about, the defenders. I think it's about in general, because as I said, that team need maybe a little bit more experienced players, because when you look, all the players they are young. And last season, they had a great season. They had a good performance, but this season, everybody expect them, to maybe to win the Premier League, and I think it was too soon, because that team need little bit more time. So now they have to understand, the players have to understand. Now they have to put themselves in the another level, because to win the Premier League is not easy, as we know. You have to play almost every 3 games plus the different competition. And so that's why you need to have a big squad. But when your players are too young, sometimes it's difficult for them, to be 100% in every game. So I'm sure this season they will finish in the top 4. I hope so, but they will be ready for the next season really to compete for the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, that experience at the back, it's a couple of seasons ago now that Thiago Silva left Chelsea, of course, and so much experience there. And do you think maybe it's a case of not ever fully replacing the experience that he offered Chelsea in the back four?
For me, it's always a problem, with a club who doesn't have experienced players in the team. So when we speak about Chelsea, we know Thiago Silva was a captain of Chelsea. He was a player who was the more experienced, and at the same time he was help the young defenders who was around him. And when he left, they didn't buy one experienced defender. So that's why the defense was make some mistake. And the problem is when you are on the pitch, when you play against the big club, you need someone who are leading the defense line. And when I look Chelsea, when they play, no one is, lead that defense line. And that is a problem, because all the players, all the defenders, they are focused about what they have to do and not what the defense line has to do.
Yeah, absolutely. One real positive this season at Chelsea has been Esteval, the young player coming in from Brazil, but doesn't look like it's taken any sort of pressure on him at all. I mean, he's obviously done really well in the Champions League and starting to come into the Premier League team now as well. How impressed have you been with him? He looks like the fans are really excited by what he could offer.
I think everybody is very exciting to see him when he play. I was at the stadium, I think, against Liverpool, and he was a substitute player. And when he came on, he makes a difference. So he's still young, but yeah, he look like he doesn't have any pressure on his shoulder. But when you are the striker or winger at this age, what you want to do is just to enjoy and to be on the pitch and to show what you can do. You are not thinking. So it's completely different when you are the defenders. Defenders at this age will get more pressure on his shoulder because if he make one mistake, his team can concede a goal. But when you are the winger or striker, if you miss one pass, if you miss one good opportunity to score, you will have the chance, to score on another opportunity. So that's why, for me, the striker at this age, they just have to enjoy their football and to do what they like, to show their quality and to make the fans to jump, so I like that.
On Chelsea as well, the January transfer window is coming up. We got a question, what would your dream signing be for Chelsea, William, in the January transfer window?
To be honest, for me, I think, for Chelsea, at the moment, I think they miss one, as I said, one experienced players who can put Chelsea really on top. And for me, it's Victor Osimhen, and I wanted to see him to sign for Chelsea. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But my dream is to see him to play for Chelsea because I think with his quality, I think he can suit to Chelsea perfectly.